Yeah, we're all good. All right. Thank you, everyone who has joined in. We just got Jody. Just for you guys, look after the people joining in the room for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. So you've probably already seen the title 100 times our emails. So this is the 40K formula workshop. So we try to go through strategies that we actually teach and implement inside the e-commerce circle with a lot of the e-com clients that we work with. Now, you'll probably notice this is 40K. Is that monthly or annually? The thing is, these are both strategies that work for kind of both levels of business, whether you're just starting or you're already got more foundations, you're just scaling. It's all done at a different level. Sorry, can we just make sure everyone's on mute, guys?
Yeah, I turned up.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah.
So we'll try and get through this as quick as we possibly can. So 3 things I just want everyone to do here if you can. I know I probably have already talked to you on the phone quickly about this, but well, lock in number 1. So we're going to go for about 60 minutes, but these usually go a little bit over if we're just kind of jamming a little bit. So feel free if you do at the end kind of need to go a bit earlier, but if you can just put away about 60 minutes, that'll kind of get the most out of this for you. Cameras on, microphones ready. So we do try and engage a lot with you guys. It's going to help you get the most out of this. So just be ready to answer questions and, potentially when we give feedback, have your mic turned on. Let's go next. All right. So kind of the goals from today's call. So we want you to be able to walk away with kind of a few ideas that you can then go implement into your own e-commerce business. So one is how you're going to be able to actually convert more browsers into buyers. So we're talking about conversion rate. How do we actually get a higher conversion rate? Obviously, there's a lot of benefits to having that. The second is how you're going to nail paid ads. So once you have a website that converts, obviously you're going to start needing to send traffic to your website. And that's another challenge in its own. So we're going to tackle that for a little bit as well. And also this is the pathway to profit. So one thing we really try and help people do is to set actionable goals. So 90, 180, 270, 360 days when we work with them. And this way you actually have things that you can tackle them in segments as you go through your business, not just kind of juggling 100 things at once. Focus on the important things. So a couple of common questions we have when we run these is, will the information we give you work in my niche? We do this with so many different niches. The same frameworks we use is kind of similar towards many niches. It's just excluding a few that are usually kind of taboo industries. But yes, it will work if it's e-com. Is it going to work at your size? Again, guys, doesn't matter what size you are. These are fundamentals that we're teaching. And just depending on the size you are, kind of dictates the level of which you implement these strategies. So everything here, doesn't matter what size you are, it's going to be helpful towards you and will work now. This is all stuff that we're proving. How many clients are we working with at the moment, Paul, do you reckon, in general at the moment?
Oh, close to 100, probably.
So this is stuff that's working right now with multiple brands. So yes, it's active right now. It's not stuff from 2017. Let's go next.
Unlike most of the stuff that you guys are going to find on YouTube, you're going to find someone teaching you stuff from like 1997 that worked back then, but doesn't work anymore, right? So
yeah, exactly right. And if you've just joined in, guys, so you might notice in the chat, everyone's dropping a link to their website. So make sure you do as well if you'd like us to have a look at yours at some point during today's show. So quickly, who is this for? The kind of people that we really want to help the most, the people who are actually passionate about the products that they sell. It's very important that you're engaged with the product that you sell, because you're just going to be more passionate as a person in your business and you'll have better results that way. That's what we find. This is for someone who feels overwhelmed when you run an e-commerce business. A lot of people start this thinking it might be only a couple of things, but then you start it and you realize there's like thousands of things that go into e-commerce and it can be very overwhelming. It feels like you're juggling, spinning 5 plates at a time, right? And the third is that you actually want to make money and not just be selling stuff that then actually feeds the ATO more than it feeds you. Obviously, we want to be profitable as well, so we can create good livings for ourselves. Pretty standard. That's probably why everyone's in business in the first place. So why should you listen to Paul? I'm going to do this for you anyway. Paul doesn't like.
Oh, you're going to do it?
Oh. Yeah, I know you don't like talking about yourself. So this is the reason I work with Paul as well, is because he's just someone who's he's a real kind of an industry leader almost in this. He's been doing this for years, to a point where I think his first company, like there was no Shopify, the internet was in its infancy, and he was already figuring out e-commerce. So obviously you can read this. He's done it some pretty massive levels. That's just to say that he's been doing this day in, day out. So again, all the information we do tell you, it is real stuff. It's tested every single day with all the brands that we work with. Over the next. And what's this? Oh yeah, just more things. So this is kind of like Paul's hit list of things that he's done that you probably think, Paul's had it easy, maybe. Not really true. He's been through all the stuff that can happen. So he's built e-com brands that are really good for himself and others. He's mastered the art of hiring. Oh, you've changed this since, so now it's like nice stuff too.
I changed it. Yeah, yeah. Say nice things about me.
Okay, so these are really nice. These are only saying nice things about Paul. Look, he's done
Yeah,
a lot of things. I think people can read here. Just go to the next one anyway.
yeah, all good.
Change it up on me.
Yeah, I've got to keep you on your toes, mate. We don't need
Yeah.
to, man.
So
Yeah,
this is all to say, guys, that the principles that he's learned over these years, over those 25 plus years, that is kind of like where we get our teachings from. It's a mix of all the mistakes and the kind of the good things that he's learned over the years, plus with all the help that he gets from outside experts. We got Chris McLean here, who's head of branding, Lockie here as well, who's our meta ad specialist. We get people who are better than us to help out with other people in these fields. That's the whole point. That's why we do what we do. It's because like we understand there's many facets, and you want to be able to do as best you can in each, and sometimes just having people who are really good at them, just learn from them rather than thinking you know everything. But this
yeah.
is kind of like what we teach on a daily basis. Quick couple what do you call them, case studies from people. These are some lovely this is a lovely couple, Chris and Sarah. So they've been with us for about a year. They actually just crushed, I think, Black Friday. They did like 250K, I believe,
250K the last 30 days.
just in the last 30 days, which is a very big record for them. Really massive win for them as well. Is that, look, we work with a lot of family founded businesses. So people who have families, they have kids, and you want to build businesses around your life, kind of like not the other way around. So these guys took a holiday for the first time with their kids last summer, and I'm hoping they can do the same again this summer. That's the first time in years, and that's because they built out a business that kind of knows how to operate with it without them needing to be there every second of the day. Let's go to the next one.
We're trying to find the slide for the next one from Narelle and Landon. Well, yeah, we'll go to them. All
No,
good.
yeah, Narelle and Landon. I mean, these guys are another awesome kind of client in our community. So they're actually nomads. So we help them to build a business where they're able to now. They live in an actual bus. We've seen it when they've come to one of our retreats before. I've been in it. It's a real gigantic, like a school bus almost. That's now a home. He works and operates through that. Has a killer business. It's really awesome. They're in the solar kind of industry. And yeah, they're crushing at the moment as well. Like, I mean, that says the total sales up there. We don't really,
Yep.
can't really fake that stuff.
They were what did they do? I suppose to Landon yesterday. They did $226,000 the last 30 days.
Awesome.
And he didn't even touch any of his stock.
Yeah.
Right. Traveling around in a bus, two daughters, running his business, dropship business, crushing it. So
yeah, awesome.
this
Cool.
is my favorite slide, Chris.
Yeah, I know you love it. So this is kind of, we call it our unhidden agenda, guys. So obviously we run these workshops weekly, and we do encourage everyone to get around, around to them. And we really do hope that, whether or not you guys, intend to work with us ever in the future, that you do get something really valuable out of today's workshop, some sort of strategy or action that you can use for your actual e-commerce business. But I do need to let you guys know that obviously there is a goal for us behind this, and we want to work with as many of you as possible. So, Paul gets probably a couple hours of his time free each week, and he dedicates one of these to kind of having these sessions with you. So he only has so much time on his hands. So we do kind of ask for permission here. If you guys in the chat can just say yes or no, if you're happy that we make an offer for you at the end of this, we think it's going to be a really killer for you. We have just put something together actually recently that I think is going to be a game changer, already is for a lot of businesses. So please, if you're happy with that, just leave a yes, and we'll kind of quickly get to that.
Can I just say it quickly? So there's already 3 people on the call that have already got the offer, and they've already seen a sneak peek of the offer.
True.
So feel free to comment, Jody and Lisa, if you want. But I showed both of them today because they purchased it like 3 weeks ago, and was like excited, so excited. This looks amazing. So feel free to chuck whatever you want in the comments. If it looks terrible, say terrible. But if you want to say nice things, go for it. So all right,
perfect.
Here we go.
All right, cool. So you kind of touched on this earlier, but guys, there are 4 stages in business that we kind of just roughly, obviously. There's the startup phase where, there's going to be a few people in here who have just started their e-com business. They're kind of still building those foundations. And then there's the setup phase where you got your legs a little bit more. There's a grow up phase where you're really starting to grow the business. You're probably getting some hires or outsourcing work. And then there's a scale up phase where you're actually planning on scaling the business. So we're going to refer to these a little bit throughout this kind of process, but just so you know, everything that we teach is going to be relatable to you either way. But if you can leave a message below, it helps us know when we give you feedback roughly what level you're at, so we can kind of change the level of detail that we do kind of include in that. All right, perfect. Thank you guys. I see Sylvia, Justin,
Ivan's one, Z's one, Justin's one, Lana's one.
Perfect. And there's no, obviously, guys, there's no problem with any, like, we're happy to help. Doesn't matter what size you are. Startup alignment, perfect. Thank you. Jody, thank
Awesome.
you. Lovely. And before we jump into it, I mean, really to hammer it home, guys, one more testimonial from Regan and Dan. They joined up with us a few months ago, and I believe we turned around their website and then started meta ads, and they had what was it? Oh, it says here 500% increase. And what was that a couple months ago? I don't even know what they're at this point, Paul. Maybe you know off the top of your head.
Can you spotlight me for a second, Chris McQueen? And I just want to show something. So we had an inner circle call yesterday, and we tried to get everyone on the inner circle, and everyone's so busy. And I said, Dan and Regan, can you come to a call? And this is what they responded with. I don't know if you can see it. It says, sorry, we're getting smashed with orders. And here's their orders
That's right, I saw that.
from a day. Right. So they're like, yeah, sorry, we can't come because they sell sauces. So they have to make everything, cook everything, ship everything. So I'm like, oh, that's a good problem to have. You know,
Yeah.
don't forget about us when you could have your spotlight if you want, Chris. But when you're ready, come back because we miss you. And this was the problem for like most of the people in the circle. One lady's in there, she goes, I did 140 orders like in a day, for a few days. Another brand did $3 million in the last 30 days. Another one did like crazy numbers, right? There's small brands in there doing little things and good, you've probably seen, who was it, Will, who posted the other day in the
Oh, Will,
Shopify
yeah.
straight?
Yeah.
I don't, he sits in the shadows. I don't even know what he looks like really. He always has his camera turned off, but he's
He's
like,
very shy.
I had a 40 grand month after his first month. And I think when he joined, he was doing nothing, right? So all he does, goes to the calls, listens, goes away, does the stuff, comes back and he's like crushing it. So, but pretty standard kind of results here. All right.
Perfect.
Want to talk about this thing, Chris? Do you want me to do
Yeah,
it?
I
Or
think
you
it's where
want
you take over, mate.
to take over? Okay, cool. So basically what we do when we work with any brand inside the circle, even outside the circle, we run them through what we call our more orders model. So as you can see, three sides of this thing, because there's three main parts in an e-com business that kind of always have issues. And the three main parts that always have issues are the story that you're telling on your website. So the story is about your brand, how you talk about it, how you communicate it, how you try and persuade the browsers and visitors and so forth to come to your site, number one. Second is, does your site actually convert as well? So a lot of people send a lot of traffic to websites because they go and throw up a website, or they go and spend a lot of money with an agency or a web design company, and they build a website and it never converts as good as it can convert, right? And that's a huge issue. And I'm sure Lockie can attest, and it's kind of the bane of existence for guys like Lockie that are like, we've got all this traffic coming and we've got a conversion rate of 2%. And they're like, well, what's the problem? I'm like, mate, your website's the problem, right? So why we use this model is because literally before we do anything for any clients, we make sure that they have a really good brand story. And they get that by working with Chris McQueen for a couple of weeks, or they do it on their own. And they go through this amazing process. They come out the other side, and then when people land on your website, they're like, I'm in the right place. It's talking to me. It's answering the problems that I'm having in my head. It's, I trust this website. I feel really good. I'm ready to make a purchase. I'll come back to Chris in a second and he can make that sound fancier again. But then the other component of this is, you've got a home page, you've got a collection page, you've got a product page, you've got cart pages, and then you've obviously got the desktop version and the mobile version and the tablet version. When we build websites for people, there's about 200 to 300 different elements that go onto all of those pages that most Shopify sites do not have. And because they don't have all of those things, basically what happens is your site's never going to convert as good as it can convert, right? Because it's missing, buttons in the wrong spot, social proofs in the wrong spot. There's no reviews. There's no 200 other things that should be on the website, okay? So I can't stress this enough and why this is so important, right? And I use the analogy, and my wife is on the call and she always gives me shit when I use this analogy, but I'm like, when we started dating, I made sure that I went out and I met her and I looked nice and I spoke nice. So, I look nice, I relate to my conversion strategy. I spoke nice is my brand communication strategy. Now we're happily married, 2 kids, 2 dogs, moving house, blah, blah, blah. But if I had rocked up on the date, like in my tracksuit pants and my Ugg boots and half drunk, probably wouldn't have, probably wouldn't go on very far. But unfortunately, most people in the e-commerce space's website is kind of like that, right? Half drunk, wearing Ugg boots, and they go, I don't know why it's not working. And then you go and work with agency after agency after agency, and you spend money on SEO, and you spend money on meta ads, and you're doing all of it, and you're working really hard, but you're sending all this traffic to your website, doesn't convert because it doesn't say the right thing, doesn't convert because it's just not built to convert, right? And then you're frustrated, and then Most people go, I'll go get another website, or try another strategy or another thing, right? And they just go around and around in circles. Then the bottom part of this is how you actually put together a proper financial strategy and a proper digital strategy. So it's great that you go out there and you start doing meta ads, Google ads, SEO and everything, but you've got to have a cohesive strategy that says the right thing from your brand messaging strategy on the right platform. So Chris McQueen, I might let you just add, have I left out any bits that you want to add to that? Gotta make your own KPIs tonight, mate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your strategic part there is that we talk a lot about the brand communication process being the fancy words on the website. And that's certainly one of the first places that work sort of shows up. But that digital strategy, the meta ads, the Google ads, the email marketing, all of the other brand work that you do, whether that's shooting social videos, right, or your social posts, all of that content that you produce comes back to that same compelling brand message. Like I say, if you don't have that aspect figured out and you just kind of go into a market not knowing who the market really is and not speaking to a specific buyer, you just go into a market going, well, I sell widgets and I'm going to sell widgets to anybody in the world that likes to buy widgets, right? A lot of people do that, right? You go, I've got this thing, I sell this mouse and I'm going to go and sell it to everybody that needs a mouse. And then you're just competing with the 4,000 other companies that are selling widgets or mice, right? Since the pandemic, e-commerce has exploded and there's that many businesses, there's that many options for people to buy now, right? I can pretty much buy the same commodity from many tens, thousands, right, of different businesses. So if there's not a way that I can stand out in the consumer's mind and they start to see me as something unique in the market, which is what this compelling brand message really is, it's a positioning strategy so that your customer becomes your customer and you become their go-to widget brand, right? You become their chocolate guy, their sock guy, their pin guy, their headphone guy, right? So when you get that story right, that story goes into all of the content that you prepare, it goes into your website, and that helps the website convert. And then you're also, you're converting better from a social media perspective as well, if you want to kind of look at it that way, rather than just kind of shouting into the void and producing all this content that kind of doesn't get anyone to do anything. And that's why we talk about brand so much, because brand is that emotional, feely thing that people connect to and go, I'm going to buy from this person because I like the person and they have this product that I need. I need the product, but I've connected somehow with this person or the way they've done it or the reason that they've done it. So all of those things help you convert from a content perspective, right, and a social perspective and a website perspective.
So, and to add what Lockie just said, right, one of the hardest things in being a Google Ads media buyer, so when I say media buyer, that I just mean the person running your Google ads, right, or meta ads, that's a media buyer, an email person. So Lockie is a media ads person, right? So why the process that we use is so different is because people will onboard a client, will work with a client, and then we'll literally hand over a brand communication playbook to Lockie, or the client will hand that over to him and he'll know exactly what to say. He'll know exactly what to put in the ad. The clients will know exactly what to do. So your meta ads guy and your email person and your Google ads lady aren't all saying and doing different things, which is the biggest problem that I see in this space. They're all trying to come up with like, this is what I think I should say about your brand. And that's what I think you should say about your brand. And so Kevin at the pub says something else about your brand. No, if you guys all say the same thing and it's consistent and it's consistent message, you're going to sell a lot more stuff as long as the messaging is right? But it's pretty hard to get this wrong when you do it like that. So incredibly powerful. I think that's all we need to add on that. What we'll probably do now is usually we just bring someone on and we actually map out this thing, right? So we're going to actually do what we're going to call the fast path plan and pick someone that's probably not already in the inner circle, because you guys will get this anyway and you probably already had it a couple of times. So I'll stop screen sharing. Who do we want to do? Who do we want to go through first? And I'm going to...
Sustainable Canvas looked like a pretty cool business.
Okay.
I like the idea of the product.
Let me have a look.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let's have a look first. Sustainable canvas. I'm just trying to turn off a tab. As always, I've left Facebook open in the background. And my mum's messaging me going, ding, 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 or someone's messaging me. So I'll try to turn it off. All right, hang on 1 second. So, yeah, nice. This is a cool looking website so far. Screen share again. So just quickly, guys, like if you see anything you like here, please buy something, It's always good. Get some free airtime. Let's have a look. Sustainable canvas. Art supplied made from 100% recycled plastic, embracing creativity that's as inspiring as it's eco-friendly. Okay. 37 bucks. Ah, so it's made out of plastic bottles. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. You're off mute. Can you give us a bit of a, rather than me reading everything, give me a bit of a, just say my short version. A rundown of everything.
Yeah. So it's been years in the making, but so I'm an artist and we've just developed canvas for artists made from recycled plastic.
Yep.
So it comes from overseas and it's primed in Australia. And then we've just recently launched painting palettes made from recycled plastic as well.
Okay.
But they've got other USBs as well that aren't just, recycled plastic. So yeah,
Right.
we launched in March.
Got it. Okay. Let's have a look around here and see what I think so far. Well, it says it right straight away. Art supplies made from 100% recycled plastic. Is
good
it
brand name? It says what it does on the tin.
Yeah.
Sustainable canvas, kind of get what it is immediately, which is good. It's not just Jenny's canvas shop, and you kind of got to figure out what that is. But sustainable canvas is good.
primed in Australia? Okay. Yeah. So the things that are coming to me though, I'm immediately like why? Why do I want to use this in like one sentence? I get that I know what the product is, but if I land on the website inside of one sentence, I'm like, what is the reason that I would use this over other canvases? I can say this, like you said, it's made out of blah, 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 but I feel like that's missing a bit, founded by an Aussie mum series.
Yeah, so I recently surveyed artists. Like I just put 3 different surveys in different Facebook groups, and 100% said that it's important. Sustainability in their art practice is important. And I know sustainability isn't always, like if you're selling t-shirts and one's really expensive but sustainable and one's cheap, and it's not. But I think artists are a bit of an outlier when it comes to sustainability, where it is something that is important to them. The canvas, it won't mold like natural, like cotton and linen. It doesn't sag on stretcher bars either because it is polyester essentially.
Okay.
And then the palettes, they're really easy to clean. So I've done a few videos of like peeling off paint off the palette for some reason, for some weird ASMR maybe reason, they always get a lot of engagement.
Okay.
But yeah. So there's other USBs.
Yeah, right. I'm wondering if this whole sentence here needs to be could be reframed then, to the point that our artist so something more along the lines of, if you're concerned about your environmental footprint as an artist, our plastic canvases plastic canvases is probably not the right way to talk about it, right? But, provides a sustainable medium, ensuring your art is beautiful and planet friendly. Because then in your mind, you're instantly going, bam, bam. Yeah, I don't like rubbish. I don't like waste. And I'd love to help the planet. And I still have the opportunity to create something that's beautiful. And it's also helping the planet. So what you're trying to achieve here in as few words as possible, and it also needs to have what we call search volume. So search volume is when people actually go to Google and they go like, recycled canvases or something, right? But it needs to say something where people go, yeah, that's what I want. I really want that. And as they read the sentence, they go, yes, yes, yes. So for example, and I always bring these guys up everything because it just makes a lot of sense. So toyboxtails, I'll show you what I mean here. Toyboxtails.com.au. So I mean, me as a dad, I'm like, cool, yeah, it's a toy store. I get it. But unleash your child's imagination. Like, okay, that sounds good. I always wanted to do that as a kid. At the toy store, where every toy tells a tale. I'm like, wow, imagination, toy store, creating memories, towing tails. So I've gone tick, tick, tick. I'm like straight away, bam, like, and Chris what did this basically, and then we get into like a H2 from educational games, creative play sets. We have everything your child needs to spark wonder at every age. I'm like, done, I'm sold. Like they're all ticks. So what you're trying to do, and you're missing what we call a H2 at the moment. You do have, that's probably, let me check, hang on, if that's a H1.
It's a H1, yeah.
It is a H1. Yeah, cool. Okay. So for everyone that doesn't know what a H1 is the most important tag on the page. But I don't think if I landed on the site and it said art supplies made from recycle, like I think you can make that sound more exciting and more impactful.
Is it art supplies or is it canvases specifically?
It's art supplies
and stuff as well.
Yeah, so sorry, it's canvas and palettes at the moment, and we're still in a design phase for something new. So yeah, I suppose not quite supplies yet.
Like I've got a few other options. I mean, Chris is the wizard of this. I'm like his apprentice, but you want to make a positive environmental impact with your art. You go, okay, that sounds good so far. Our 100% recycled plastic canvases allow you to create stunning pieces while reducing waste. So you're going, environmental impact, recycled, stunning pieces, reducing waste. I've gone, yes. I mean, I've only done this super quickly. But you can see how we've kind of reframed that already. And then from that would lead into this stuff more. Because 100% I love the whole Aussie mum angle. I don't actually know what archival quality is. That sounds very fancy. Archival quality. Yeah. So
made from archives.
Okay. So
good quality, right? It can be archived. It'll last a long time.
Yeah, got it. It'll last. They'd be old like you kind of thing. Got it.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So these next things that you want to lead with here, we need to make sure that they're actually the right things that people care about the most. So people are going to come to your website, and for example, they'll see stuff like this. You're going to get expert guidance from lovely staff, convenient shopping, handpicked from their hearts to your home. You're like, well, that sounds lovely. What a nice couple that run this business. So I'm wondering, I mean, I've got a terrible, I did one of those sip and paint things a couple of months ago, and I don't know what it is, but it looks crap. But I'm like, if I was going to do that again and buy your product, I'd be like, we'll outlast natural fiber canvases in my mind. And I'm trying to get you to speak to the biggest audience possible. Because everybody can paint and everyone can paint on this, right? And everyone can have this. Are they really going to go, it's going to outlast natural? Probably, they probably don't care, certified by Global. That probably is. And then having some information to link to that, tested by that. Yeah. Again, for me, I'm like, probably not. 37 plastic bottles in, is that, so you use 37 plastic bottles in every square meter? That's what that means? Yeah, okay. So some of these things are what we need to drag out more. I mean, and that's probably in here as well. I think it's just how we're kind of spacing it. So for example, I would be putting a video of you front and center on the homepage. We're like, hey, it's Alana here, and I want to talk to you about the product. We do we do it for this person. We do it for this reason. This is why you'll love it. Scroll down a bit further, you're going to see the 200 other people that love it for the same reason. Kind of like if you scroll down to their site, there is an image on the front of Chris and Sarah's page, but you're like, okay, this is what they kind of stand for. Their promise and so forth, right? I think so. There's just a bit of a funny presentation around how you've done that.
It's a pretty obvious positioning. It's sustainability focus. Like sustainable stuff's pretty, like it's obvious what it is. It's the trick is to get to like the cool thing about it, or the really different, like, why is it sustainable? Is it sustainable because it's durable? Is it sustainable because it's made from bottles? Is it sustainable for XYZ? And then the second part, is this for like hobbyist artists? Is this for professionals? Because then that will go into what problem are they actually trying to solve? Are they trying to solve like that? It's an archival quality. I want to make something that's going to last if I put it in a gallery and it will last for generations. Or is it someone that's doing painting on the weekend and they just want to have something that won't go in the trash? So like the psychology of the buyer goes a lot into the words that you choose to use. To get like with the widgets, so I'm trying to sell widgets to anybody that wants to buy a widget. it's harder to get a really clear message than if I target a specific type of widget buyer, the weekend warrior widget buyer, right? They're buying it for a specific purpose to solve a specific problem. So the more we can kind of dial down on like, who's that person? Why are they buying? What are we trying to fix for them? What are we trying to help them with? That's the stuff that will give us the language. And then we can say the thing that that person's already thinking. And that's when they go, they've already done the work. They know me. I trust them already. So the product must be good and I'll buy it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the process that it takes to kind of get to those, the perfect sort of simple words that say everything, but in a simple way, and include, as Paul said, the SEO tags and all the stuff that's going to make it visible to search engines, and kind of stick all that together into a kind of compelling piece of text.
So is there 3 ways people can buy it? So primed is already on a frame and unprimed is like not on a frame. Is that correct? Or no?
No, and I've only like literally on the call changed that photo on the prime, and I really wish I did it now. That looks really odd.
Oh, we'll just do Control-Alt-Delete and we'll just check cancel. So
it's not stretched, it just comes on the roll. So there's
like
the primed, yeah. So there's primed, the palette, and the unprimed canvas.
Okay. So does the wider audience need to start making a decision at this point as to what type of product they should be buying from you? So for example, we start at the top and you know, the average words that I suggested, and then we got some social proof, and then we've made this better. And they go, hey, here's what you need to do if you want to buy the product from us. One, you know, what decisions do they go through in order to buy the product? Do they go, I want to do it myself, I need it this size, I need to do, can you talk me through that?
What do you mean? So
do they need to decide what, do they use pencil? Can they use any type of paint? Is it for particular styles? Do they need to choose whether it's on the palette already or if it's a roll? I think that's like what's the buying decision? How do they decide which one they want?
Yeah. So I suppose it'd be the different lengths that they would want. And then which sort of artwork they do. So it's ideal for acrylic, oil, watercolors, and alcohol ink. I mean, that's in the copy. And so then
you've got to dig for it to find it though, because I'm sitting here going, now what's the difference between that and that?
Yeah.
Before you want to be able to go, you Paul, you need this one. You want to do this? You want to have a crack at doing this at home? You know, you want to just, you know, or any other artist anywhere in the world, it's like, this is what you need to do. You either want to buy this or this, or this or this. Do you know what I mean? And then start presenting the product. So, I mean, if I put it to the group on the call, like, is it clear? What do you like? Anyone that wants to take yourself off mute, and then I'll put you on the spot. You know, like whoever wants to volunteer. Like, is it clear for you to know what to do here? Because you know, because if it's not, then we go clearly we have a conversion problem, right? So I might ask Ivan, what do you reckon, Ivan?
Are there any artists on the? Does this require some like expertise? Like, would an artist understand the difference between primed and unprimed? Because like I'm not an artist, so I'm not your audience, and I'm not your audience either. But no offense, you might be a secret artist. I'm not sure.
No,
he's a creator.
I'm definitely not a secret artist. No, I can see what you mean, Paul. But yeah, that's going in without any knowledge of art supplies or anything like that. So
yeah, and I think we need to clear that up. I reckon definitely straight away.
Hi Alana, hi guys. It's Gina.
Hey Gina.
How are you going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just a little feedback, Alana. I love art, and I did a little bit of art in year 12. I bought a lot of supplies, and I studied fashion designing. So I did buy some supplies in terms of fulfilling my artistic aspirations, I guess. And I think with the products on your website, it's very niche. And I think, just my perspective, the people that are going on your website, they already know what they want. They're looking for a canvas, they're looking for different options. And I think a sustainable canvas is, to me, I don't know if it's been on the market for a long time. However, this is the first time I've actually heard of sustainable canvas. So in my mind, I want to know what, in big bold letters, I want to know what the difference is and what the finishing quality is in terms of using natural fiber canvas and plastic based canvas. What is the outcome of my work when it's completed, and how long is it going to last? Can I reuse the canvas? Can I paint over it, and what have you? So my decision making is all about how is my art ultimately going to look. I might be a really crappy artist, but I want my canvas to work for me. And I think with this, I'm a little confused in why I should commit to this canvas. And if it's based on sustainability, I don't know what the price point difference is. It's something I think it needs to come across like I need to convince my customer in how good the product is.
Yeah, it's good feedback there. As someone else who probably hasn't painted since year 12 either, or grade 6 or something, I'm probably the same. I'm like, is it going to look the same when I paint it? And what other benefits are there really? Again, we're going for the whole yes, yes, yes thing. And then they go make 1 or 2 decisions, right? So however we reframe this, I don't think it's going to be super complicated, but a couple of other things. I mean, I'd obviously put photos on here of people who have created art with it, like front and center. So people go, looks just as beautiful there as, I did it myself. So definitely important to have that. So if we move on to some conversion rate kind of things at the moment, as I spoke about, you got a home page, you got a product page, you got a collection page. This is your product page. Some things that you've got here, you kind of got some of the elements in the right location. Reviews is definitely in the wrong spot. Put that up the top here. So you want people to see the reviews instantly. Don't hide it, right? Images should be over here. A lot of people won't know. There's a thing called below the fold. So just for the people that don't know, that's this, right? So when I start folding down, most people, there's a whole 50% of the internet don't know that you can scroll down on a web page, right? So they're never going to scroll down here and see all the other stuff, like these things. So you want to really put them front and center so people can see them. There's a lot of other conversion elements that are missing in here, and things such as, hey, in the last 24 hours, we've sold 6 of these. Right now, there are 3 people looking at this. Then in here, there's a thing that we call meta fields and meta benefits, right? So typically you would have 3 or 4. You go, so for example, with the question that was already asked, it may say something like, better for you, better for the planet, or something, just some random words that I'm throwing in here. You go, okay, that sounds better. Just as easy to use as normal canvas. However, it will last longer, and it's saving the planet, and it's doing something else. You go, okay, 2 things that I've read now that sounds really, really good. And you probably have 3 or 4 things that you say to customers when you speak to them, right? When you talk about your product, it just naturally will flow out of you all the time. So whatever those 2 or 3 things are, you want to put them in here so people go, oh yeah, cool, yes, yes, yes. And then example, you go, looking at like Chris and Sarah's website, that I'll come back, pick a product. So here's a bike. So I just do like a side-by-side comparison. We made their site, you go, oh, people looking at the product. Great. So that means that there's interest in the product. You got the reviews. You don't have a short description at the moment as well. So short description looks like this. You have to have a short description that some themes don't handle very well. Again, a short description is just like, again, why you should buy the product, right? You don't have any information about shipping or returns or anything in here. Shipping is one of the biggest friction points with an e-commerce site. People will come here and they go, I know the price, I know reviews. I can see that there's the add the cart button. How much is delivery? I can see it kind of green on green in the header. It took me a while to see that. People go, oh, it's too hard, I'm out of here, right? So there is a bunch of other basic things kind of wrong with this page. That's always, you're like this page versus like how we build a high converting page would be 3 to 4 times better than here. A couple of other things you want to change. I'll give you some more anyway. Scarcity, like these kind of things is really important. So you go, hey, we don't actually have many stock. You should order it. Hurry up, make a decision, right? And there's tons of just other little things in here that all add to why a site converts better. And it's, again, it's the same if I go into here. So it's kind of, so do you only have 2 products?
3.
Okay.
So I think that was shop and then canvas rolls, and then there's like palette, and then soon the next product will go in there too.
In here? Okay. All right. On here though, you're probably gonna, I think I just need to wrap my head more around how people buy this. So so you buy it by 1.15 or 5 or
Yeah. So in the roll that one of the products, that's how it comes in. So people are just buying it by the roll. Professional artists are painting on it stretched on a wall, or they're getting it stretched by a framer first and then painting on it.
Okay.
And then but it's sent to them in a roll.
Right, you've got an intruder. G'day,
Yeah,
buddy.
sorry.
all good. I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. They'll walk in any minute, probably with no pants on or something like they always do.
Yeah.
Who knows? So I would probably encourage you to break out the way you're handling your products so that you have a sustainable canvas rolls and you actually have 3 or 4
In a minute. Sorry.
and you actually have 3 or 4 sizing options straight out as separate things. The reason I recommend that is because in your collection, when you've got a sustainable, this collection, right? If you have 3 products in there with slightly different names, but they all say stuff like, sustainable canvas, what that's going to do is it's going to improve what we call the keyword density of that collection. It's all good if we're recording this, by the way, if you miss anything. I'll keep talking and then you sort out the little, no, all good, sort out the little, I'll keep talking that for everybody else. But if she was to add three more products to that section, she's going to rank high for it because Google goes, hey, I went to the collection on that site. And because the word is in there 25 times instead of like 6 times, it'll rank higher in Google. And it's also going to make it a bit easier for people to make a decision. Because I would imagine most people come to the site and go, I either want 1 meter times 1 meter, or I'm an artist and I want to buy in bulk. So give me 1.5 meters. You've kind of already done it, but actually breaking them out and putting them in the collection will work a lot better. So I'll leave that there for now. If I look at the homepage as well, you've kind of, you're not displaying reviews and stuff on here as well. So you should be bringing that through in your theme for social proof. You've got testimonials on here. That's great. You can't verify that. That's kind of just hard coded in there. You want to be using something like Judge Me. So, if you go to a site like Chris and Sarah's site and you go to the front page and, instantly, like you can see stuff like this. We got 308 reviews before I've scrolled anywhere. And then I go down here and then I'll start looking at another product. Review, variable, like variant, sorry, it's a bestseller. You're missing kind of those things as well. So, what I reckon I'll do now, though, I just want to do this for you. Just before, if I know your kids, anything like my kids, 10 minutes and that's it, all hell breaking loose, right? So I'll do this existing whiteboard and I'll share screen.
So this has been really helpful. Thank you. So as an artist doing an art product, it's nice to have this feedback. So thank you.
Non-arty people who have no idea going, sell it to me. So
the good thing, Alana, is you are your market.
Yeah.
From a brand, like a lot of the work we do in brand is about connecting to an audience that has a unique passion, and because you are the audience and you made this to solve your own problem. You've got content for days, and that's the stuff that people will connect and go, oh, I'm just like Alana. I hate plastic waste in my studio too. And then you've got all this, you've got content, you've got social content, you can shoot different videos, different ad angles, because you know the pains because you're going through them. So the more you can express those to people like you'll create that trust connection with people. Yeah. So it's a massive benefit to be your own audience.
See, most people who will buy from you are, and I don't think I have a slide in here, Chris, for top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel. But there's a thing, right, called top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel. Most people at the bottom are, Chris, can you stop moving your mouse? Because you're just doing that now. You're moving your mouse. That's going over my screen. So here's top, here's middle, here's bottom. Like bottom basically means people already know about you and they're already ready to buy and they're like, cool, I know who she is. So, right. If you want to build this business into a big monster business and you're going to go, well, how do I speak to people in top of funnel? Because, to and that's because you're going to get all these new people like me that you're like, oh, I can run a Facebook ad. Oh, you can't see my screen? Really? Can everyone else see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, all good. Okay. So at some point you want to go, okay, I need to reach top of funnel because that's where a much bigger audience is. So when you go to someone like Lockie and Lockie's like, okay, let's run ads to people who've never heard of you before. That's where you really need to nail this messaging so that you're not just speaking to artists, right? Because that's a much bigger audience than just art. Not saying, people who want to buy a sustainable canvas is probably hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, but if you nail these three kind of different segments, you'll just be much easier for you, right? I'll come over to here. So if I was you, this is how I would build this business over the next year, basically. So first things are, you've got to nail your brand messaging strategy. Plenty of ways you can nail that. We help people with this stuff all the time. I won't show the depth that Chris goes through when he does brand messaging strategy because it's about, how many tabs is it, Chris? 45 tabs and
there's at least 28 in there.
28
and 28
and 100 questions, right? But when someone does the brand messaging, you get to the final page of that and it gives you your H1, gives you your H2, gives you the field, all the stuff that you need, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Right, someone can't see my screen. All good.
Yeah, no worries, Jen.
Yep.
Yeah. Let you back in.
Next thing is you got to fix the site so that it actually converts properly. So conversion rate. So why I say that, you're going to get a lot of traffic coming to the site. And I mean, you need to think about this, right? Say, for example, this whole business gets picked up by the media or something. Like, hey, she's doing this amazing thing. She's making this sustainable product. And you get all these people come to the website, like it's free kick, for lack of a better term, right? And then you only ever convert 1% of them. Say you get, I don't know, 100 people come and you convert one of them, that's one sale. If you convert 5% of them, that means every 100 people, you convert 5 of them. Massive, massive difference, right? Keep in mind, if you get 10,000 people come and you convert 5% of them over 1%, huge difference to your bank balance. So this is why I say this to everybody. A lot of people have a lot of traffic coming to their website. You have to convert as much of them as possible because you're going to make way more money, right?
And for the same amount of effort and same amount of ad spend, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't, think of, again, maybe Lockie can talk about this, right? But you spend, let's do the maths. My brain's pretty tired, but you spend $5,000 a month on ads, right? And you convert it 1%, right? And let's say that gives you 10 grand back or something. If you double your conversion rate, you triple your conversion rate, you spend the same amount of money, you're going to get 3 times the amount of revenue for the same amount of visitors that come to your website. You just convert way more of them, right? So most people start scaling ad campaigns and things like that, and they go, oh, I spent $1,000 and I converted XYZ and I made 10, and I think they're great. I'm like, yeah, but they just go spend more and more money, like double your conversion rate, triple your conversion rate, 4x your conversion rate, spend the same amount of money, you make heaps more, and then start scaling your ad account. So game changer. So I think once you nail that, and once you nail this, the next thing would be, and obviously that's the reason we got the world famous Lockie Thompson on the call, and you've done your brand strategy, you actually go to Facebook ads, right? Get you on camera because you are your brand. People will like you and they'll trust you and know what she's talking about. You start running ads about, the message that you got really clear on. You go, that's my paid media strategy. I mean, you can start it with this anywhere from $25 a day, $100 a day, whatever you want to do. This will build out the brand really, really quickly, I think. So I don't know whether I'd look at Google ads at the moment. I don't know how much searches there are for things like sustainable canvas, eco-friendly canvas, all that kind of thing. I imagine there would be. Do you have any insights on that yourself? Do people search for sustainable canvas?
I have started. She can't be used to that. Thank you. I'll be active. Sorry. I have started Google ads.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're getting 100 clicks a month, which I know is not much.
Okay. Yeah. So Canvas sustainability, 20 searches a month. Is Canva? Yeah, I can't find anything. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to have a quick look. Sustainable canvas. it feels like you're making the market in Australia. You know, it's one of those brands where it doesn't exist yet, really.
Yeah.
So you have to go, how do I build the market? And you do that by meta ads. Second to that, I would 100% tell you to go and start a Facebook group. So most of you are in my Shopify Facebook group. It's got 8,500 people. It makes me millions of dollars a year. We've got people in the circle who run communities. Like there's a lady called Kate from Pattern Emporium, and she's got a Facebook group where she makes dress patterns and clothes patterns and everything, and she's amazing. And she's got 40,000 ladies in her Facebook group. Every time she makes a new pattern, she's like, hey, do you want to buy it? She says that much fancier than I do because she's great on camera and everything. And they buy it, and she does, you know, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So you need to build a Facebook group where you get all the artists and go, hey, there's a better way. Use my product instead of using this product that doesn't help the planet, you know, and build a cult following around that. Then once that starts happening and you start getting testimonials and stuff, you go, hey, Lockie, can you turn this into an ad? Right? This is what Chris said. Chris is now using our product and he loves it and it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. Run it into an ad, spend $100 a day, get more people to look at the ad, and then all the artists go, cool, thank you, I'll buy it. Then at the same time in the back, I'll just be building an email list, right? So sharing cool advice, hints and tips, sharing what other people are doing, share other people's art that's creating on your platform. This is free. Like set up Klaviyo, can it collect their email addresses once a month, once a fortnight, give away some canvas, you know, build up your audience. You go, you have to join our Facebook group and you have to be on our newsletter to win some canvas, you know. And once a month, we're going to give away a prize for the best piece of art, you know. All right, happy days. So between these things, fix your brand strategy, fix your conversion rate, tiny bit of money on Facebook ads. Sorry, Facebook group. And I got a course on the Facebook group. I'll give you that for being so good tonight. I'll send that over to you. Meta ads, do this, come back here, and you're like, happy days, right? You got a business that's going places, basically. Makes sense?
Amazing, thank you.
Cool. Chris, Lockie, you guys want to add anything to that?
I was just having a bit of a stalk on Instagram, as everyone should do after we finish talking. But like that first pinned post that you have on your Instagram profile now, like obviously there was a lot of effort and editing and stuff that went into it, but that would make a great ad, and you're probably going to need to make more content like that. Like that's really good, and that will help explain sort of like everything else that Chris and Paul has talked about today on this call. And then also seeing the artist like repost as well on your feed, like that really stands out to me because it tells me that I can create beautiful pieces with your canvases. So a mixture of that sort of content, and then you've got some ASMR stuff and everything in between. But those are the two main pieces that I would focus on now.
It's that for like, I think Gina made some really interesting points because you are speaking to an artist community. Like you're not speaking to me and Paul and Lockie because we're not artists. You can use language that they'll understand. And some of the stuff Gina was saying that she would be looking for because she knows I want 1 by 1.5 meter because that's just standard that I know the sizing that I want. So I'm going to be looking for those kind of cues, the sizing cues. But that idea around you might language it something like natural fiber results without the impact. And for me, so as an artist, I go, I want the natural fiber result, but without the impact. That's a sustainable part. So you can kind of get the sustainability in there, but they still want the results. So focusing on that outcome that they're looking for, that's going to be the big thing. And again, is it hobbyists? Is it mums that buy these for their kids because their kids they love painting, but they're just tearing through canvases because they're not artists? Is that a market? Yeah. So part of the process is kind of going through and going, here's a product. Who can buy this thing? Like who does this solve a problem for? And potentially, again, just riffing like something like busy mums that have budding artists at home, and she's buying all these canvases from Aldi for $3, $5, $10 every week and just chucking them out. This type of product that she could recycle, that she's going to feel better about, that could be a really interesting market. So like, where's an audience that's churning through these things that doesn't even realize that they're bad for the planet? Because like I might buy canvases thinking, oh, it's canvas, like it's fibers, right? It's going to decompose because it's fibers, but it's probably plastic coated. So is it like in your storytelling, is it a bit like a takeaway coffee cup? It's paper, right? It's paper, so I can recycle it, but it's actually plastic lined. That's the kicker. So that kind of educational, and Paul's talking about top of funnel. So that kind of top of funnel, middle of funnel content of like, why do I buy this canvas? Well, hey, did you know that natural fiber canvases are actually overlaid with plastic or with resin or with gum or with wax, and you can't actually recycle them? So like, what's that story, and how do you tell that so that I come to your site, I come to your socials, I get educated. Now you've taught me something, so I feel a bit special, and you've taught it to me, so you're the special canvas person, and now I know what I'm buying, and then I can, so all of that stuff sort of plays into the brand aspect, which is, it's kind of a never-ending thing, but it's a big part. Like, who's it for? Why do they want it? What are they going to do with it? Why do they have to buy it from you? All these kind of aspects become really, really important.
So to add to like what Chris said, right? Think about this for me as a dad. If you go, you know what, I want to speak to parents that want to get their kids into art, and I want to stand for something. All good e-com brands, all good businesses stand for something really firm, right? And they're that person, and they stick their stake in the ground, and they're like, this is what I'm about. So say, for example, you're like, you know what, like if you want to get your kids into art, get them the best start possible by using products that are made out of sustainable canvas, so that they're not going, and Chris kind of said part of this anyway. So they're using a product that's not going to end up in the bin, and then let's make this a kind of a new generational thing, all the 80 babies, 90 babies, 40, 50, 60s grow up using this thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's actually really bad for the world. So you as a parent, you want to, and you want to give your kids, let them live in a good world that's not full of trash. Use this thing instead, right? Because what will happen is you'll build a tribe of other people who align with that, and then they'll go, yeah, cool, let's go hang out in Ireland's Facebook group. Because we don't want to be like what our parents did, that wasted all these canvases and end up in the trash. We do this instead, right? So game changer if you can be that person. And then the media will pick you up and stuff, right? They'll go, oh, we want to talk to her. Like, this is a cool idea. Young Aussie mum having a crack, doing this bloody great thing. Like, good, So hope this has been helpful. This is,
Yeah, this has been a lot. Thank you so much.
I want to jump in again
really cool.
quickly before we I just had I saw that you were giggling a bit with like not having the pinned video up, and I was like, oh, maybe she's running ads. So I've gone over to your ads library now, and just looking at it, like the copy and stuff, like all this stuff that we've talked about on this call. This is why it's so important to get that brand communication strategy done. It's because then you can make more copy, not just all the one-line stuff that I'm seeing throughout the ads manager at the moment. You can communicate.
There's a lot of tabs.
Yeah, you can communicate a lot more and sell a lot more before people even get to the website, right? And then they have a higher chance of converting if you're putting together those pieces as well.
And when we talk about brand as well, there's also a component of brand, particularly in social, where just having random ideas, like the social justice warriors that go and throw soup on the Mona Lisa. Is there a play in there?
Yeah.
If that was a sustainable canvas, they could have cleaned it easier, because they could have wiped the soup off easier. They could be like fun, and is that the brand, right? Is it because Paul's got stand for something there, right? Is that part of what you stand for? Is it about all of those aspects of brand become really exciting too? Of like, how do we have fun with things? What memes do we relate to? Kind of what social, cultural cues can we pick up on and sort of make that part of that tribe and have that conversation around these sorts of things? Yeah. And eventually it kind of all leads back to the canvas, but there's a bigger piece here about we're building something that people like to be involved in, and then they just happen to buy a really cool canvas as well.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. With whole new angles and everything. This has been amazing. Thank you.
No worries. Just quickly for everybody, this is the stuff that we do in the circle, like all the time. Ivan's in the circle. He's been there for a week. He's like, he posted today, I'm in the and he's in the basic, like we've got 2 programs. He's in the basic one. Everyone on this call is on the basic one. They go, we just do this stuff every day, right? So, and this is the stuff we're giving it for free. Stuff in the circle is even better. So, we'll jump to someone else now. But definitely stay on to the end of one. We've got a cool offer that will be perfect for you. So, who's up next, Chris V? We'll do this.
We had Gina's website was quite nice actually, but she's also struggling to see.
I can screenshot her site, so that'd be different. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's try that.
What's the site?
Forest Corner, I believe.
Did we already chat, Gina? Who had the florist? Is that another Gina?
Hey, Paul, I am the florist. Yes.
You are the florist. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
I can now. Are you doing a screenshot?
Yeah, I'm doing a screenshot. Yeah.
Okay.
What's your website?
It's Florist Corner.
Florist Corner. Oh, this is your lucky day. I've spent millions of dollars helping florists grow their businesses.
You said, yeah, I remember.
So, flower delivery, Melbourne. Celebrate life's moments and love gratitude. Yeah, okay. It's nice and pretty, but it's like, how do you stand out from the 4,000 other florists within 10 kilometers of you? If I'm going to go, best flora boutique delivery Melbourne, like why though? Can you get me flowers guaranteed to plus or minus 10 kilometers from where your store is in like an hour? Got to think about what people want when they're thinking of a florist, and they go to Google and they're searching for like flowers South Melbourne, and up comes 9 stores, and then up comes 27 roses only fake stores, which I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But
yes,
they have
very competitive. Yeah.
they have their fake stores. So
Yeah.
you more than anybody, like beautiful photos, beautiful, great font choices. You've got the blog. You don't have much social proof, which is definitely an issue. Like I want to see that, hey, here, for example, and I'll give you all the tricks here. Been in business since when did you start?
Not long ago, about a year ago.
Okay. Where are you based in? You're in Melbourne?
Yeah, Mount Waverley.
Mount Waverley. Okay.
Flower delivery Melbourne.
How long have you been in the space for in the floral industry?
I have been in the space for maybe about 4 years. I previously I was working for a florist, also locally, and they were a startup. The lady who purchased the florist was it was a new business when I started there. She didn't have a website. It was brand new at the beginning of lockdown. And so I have a general marketing background and also operations background.
Yep.
So I was able to help her to basically build the business from really selling $30 bouquets to, averaging $30 bouquets to, selling $145 per basket rate. And by the time I left, the business was doing revenues of upwards of 300,000 that particular year. So
for the year or for the month?
For the year.
Okay.
Overall, that's been my experience.
Yep.
But with the difference is that had a brick and mortar store also. So breaking it down from online and in store, online was doing about 35%, sometimes 40% of the sales. So hence I started this business because I've had exposure in that industry. I've had some, I've got contacts with the suppliers and have an understanding of the customer profile of who's buying the flowers in terms of demographic and
so why should I
income and all that kind of stuff.
But why should I buy from you when I land on the homepage? What are the 3 things that I would go tick, tick, tick? I want to buy from her as opposed to, I want to buy from the brand. And the brand looks beautiful, and the pricing, obviously it's like, premium product, you're at the upper end in the middle end of the market, middle to upper, right? But as soon as I land on the site, like, what are they? What's the 3 things? Like, how many orders have we shipped so far? How many reviews do we have? What are people saying about us? Because that's all the social proof that people want. Like, hey, I'm ordering flowers for a funeral. It's got to get there tomorrow. I've got to know that other people are happy with the service that has been provided. I've got to know that, live delivery tracking because you're using last mile courier companies or something like this. So I go, I can track it like as soon as it's there, you know. Do you know what those
I
things
do,
are?
yeah, I do. I don't use third-party delivery services, only because they operational-wise, they take a big chunk of the, I guess, delivery fee. I do that. I do outsource some of the delivery to a freelance delivery person.
Yep.
In terms of delivery, I kind of focus just around the southeastern, northern suburbs. I don't deliver to the western suburbs, only because from a client's perspective or customer perspective, once when they go through the checkout process, they look at the delivery fee, say they want to deliver to, I don't know, Williamstown.
Yep.
The delivery fee is too high. As a customer, I wouldn't be spending more on delivery fee than the flowers that I'm spending. You're right. The products are sort of on that higher. It's definitely presented as a florist. We're not a flower seller. There's lots of websites out there that sell flowers. However, in terms of the visuals, in terms of the presentation, in terms of the experience in the products and service, it's definitely at the price point that I'm promoting my products.
Yeah.
And from my experience, customers or that particular demographic, they're happy to pay that price point. They're happy with the product. So in terms of social proof, there is some social proof. Maybe I haven't positioned them in the right location, like you said, maybe above the fold rather than down the bottom. So there's
see this stuff here. This needs to be at the top of the webpage. It's in the wrong spot. So, for example, customer support, that's not a trust icon. Same day delivery, that's okay. Market fresh flowers, that's implied. It should be that anyway. Open 24 hours. I would have more things along the lines of, guaranteed delivery slots that fill fast. So I'm like, okay, I order now, it's guaranteed that it's going to go into a slot. We have then some scarcity, limited availability on seasonal blooms. So I go, I have to be quick. These flowers are beautiful. I need to make a decision before it sells out because it's limited. Then obviously,
I think I do have all that content that you're referring to.
Yeah.
I just don't have them on the homepage. And I think you mentioned something about, or maybe it was a podcast I heard or whatever, I can't remember where, but I think it was a podcast I heard today. But in terms of having a lot of that content on the homepage can be quite, it doesn't make the website attractive, especially when you're dealing with a product that should be aesthetically pleasing for a customer. I just have some reservations in terms of putting all of that content on the homepage.
For me, from a brand perspective, there's no brand really. If you like, all of your headlines are just SEO keywords.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that says, like you've said, a lot of like it's premium, it's curated, it's put together by florists. Like flower delivery Melbourne, that's a keyword. If you scroll down, it's fresh boutique flowers Melbourne delivery. Like that's not a sentence that people say. It's clearly just kind of stacked all the headlines with keywords, which is cool. But there's no brand, like there's no you. It's just a flower place. So if you want that premium florist, it looks great. Like the visual language is there, but the actual text language doesn't marry up. You just got, it's like you don't tell me
right,
Chris. Premium flowers. You don't tell me that they're freshly wrapped from the market. You don't tell me that they smell great. You don't tell me that they're for this or for that. Right? I got to figure that's like these
like
guys.
These guys, massive text on their homepage, and they're ranked 4th in Google. Like this site, biggest.
And they got the same, right? So that's the same business. They got the same headline as you. Flower delivery Melbourne.
Everyone's got that, but
everyone's got that. That's a higher search term, like from like Google Ads.
Yeah. So you can't do that because you're never going to outrank daily blooms. So this is what I like. This is what I'm saying. You have to have stuff like this on there because I read that as a consumer. I go here.
Yeah, handmade by florists.
You know, I'm like, all right, here's my side-by-side comparison. And I know these guys crush it. And I'm sure you know these guys crush it. You go, okay, make someone's day special. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? I mean, everyone on the call, like, assuming we're buying flowers for our partner, our wives, our moms, or whatever, you know, you go, that sounds great. And then you start scrolling down and you see the products. In this case, you're like, okay, you've got some options. Handmade by florists, same day delivery Australia-wide, premium, thoughtful treats from local makers. I'm like, tick, tick, tick. You have to have that stuff in there so that people actually have an experience. It feels, and I agree with Chris 1000%, it feels very SEO based, and it doesn't feel very, it's not warm in terms of how you're using the words.
No,
It's
you're
very
you're
clinical.
absolutely right. And when I did build the website, it was more about I actually had a brand change about 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, and it was originally Plant Parent 101, and my focus was on selling plants and delivering plants. However, the data and the conversions that I had was mainly from bouquets and arrangements. So I kind of had to change my strategy and rebrand. So the rebrand only was implemented about 4 months ago. So there's a lot of indexing that needs to be done. And you're right, Chris. I did focus on SEO. I sort of populated the website with a lot of those keywords that people were searching. And I think in terms of creating that story that you had highlighted, I think that that is in the works, and I am slowly sort of working towards that. However, Paul, you did mention, and Chris, you did mention that, you know, when you're a one-person show, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that needs to get done, and everything is a priority. You know, I take the photos myself, I build the website myself, I do the SEO, I do the Google Ads. You know, I there's a lot of shit that has to be done.
Yeah.
So I think I do agree with what you're saying in terms of having that, building that brand. I think in terms of reputation, it's you know, and the social proof, it's slowly getting there, but it takes a long time to build your brand, to have more social proof. So I am working on the storytelling, making, you know, one of my main things is making the website and the experience to be a lot more authentic. You know, that lovely website that you bring up, they're a massive brand and they focus on partnerships and collaborations. I don't want to align myself with like a big brand like that. I want to be authentic. I want to be local.
Yeah.
And that's the story I want to tell. And that's, you know, maybe in 2 3 years time, depending on the growth, I might want to lean towards something a bit bigger.
Yeah. I would encourage you to niche down as far as you can in this industry and build it around a niche within the flower niche, because you need to find a way to stand out among all the other florist stores on there. So for example, maybe you become the go-to store for like a special type of bouquet and that's all you do, right? So for example, there must be like, I don't know, like 10,000 people, 20,000 people a month in the area that you cover who would want to buy bouquets. So rather than going as broad as you've gone and trying, because you're just competing, you're a commodity at this point because everyone sells the same thing. You go, you know what, like Florist Corner, all we specialize in is bouquets. And we have like 60 of the best bouquets you're ever going to find. And we sell them to this type of person because they want to solve this type of problem. And, you know, we have 1,000-star, 5-star reviews around our bouquets, and we should put out every day. And we guarantee that we get there in 3 hours. And people go, right, I'm in the right spot. I go, I know, I bet she doesn't do all the other stuff, but she does this stuff really, really, really well. And she does heaps of it. And, you know, you don't want to be a big monster juggernaut brand, but if I was you, I would look at like going deep into like a niche within a niche, right? It's why I get people get on here and they say, and they'll be like, I sell candles, and I'm like, not another candle seller, you know. However, there are plenty of brands in the candle space that go very niche, right? And they're doing 10s, 50, $100 million a year because they don't just go, I sell candles. They sell a special type of candle to a special kind of person with a special kind of problem. And then that's all they do. This is how you will do very well if you do this in the florist space. You know, it's great that you have experience in Google Ads, Meta Ads, SEO, websites. You obviously know how to make things look beautiful. You know, I'm just going, my biggest piece of advice is go deeper in this, because when you do that, then like the plan that I did for Alana, like I wouldn't recommend to you to go, hey, go do Google ads next week, you know, not until you do Google ads when you're niche, right? And then do socials when you're niche, and then do video when you're niche, right? Because then you'll be able to cut through. Otherwise, you're just like BK's Melbourne, it's $9 a click. Do you know what I mean? Like crazy expensive numbers. Like that's where I would go.
That's big click.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you're competing with every other flower shop. Not
Yeah,
depending,
there's like
but what's the around the niching? Like, why is it different? Or how do you make it different?
It's not at the moment. That's what I'm saying. Like, make it different.
That was a question.
I think let's use Lovely as an example, Paul and Chris.
Yeah.
With them, you know, they got sold to a Singaporean company, and the reason why they're different is they could do a lot of collaborations. Their flowers are not that great. They don't visually look that appealing. However, they've built that brand, they've established themselves, and they've had big collaborations. I think recently they did a collab with like a wine business or one of the wineries or something like that, and that's how they sort of promote their products. And there's a big cohort out there that are interested in those kind of products. I think for me, I always sort of, there's 4 flower suppliers in Melbourne, and there's over 3,000 florists across Victoria, and some of them are flower sellers, and some of them are like myself, they're florists. So I think I always use the example of, you can buy a white t-shirt in Target, you can buy a white t-shirt in Chanel. A lot of people go to Chanel because they assume that, you get a better service, but the actual product is made in the same factory, and they look exactly the same. But people like to go to Chanel because of a lot of intangible stuff, and also the service experience. So I think with Florist Corner, that's the kind of niche that you had referred to, Paul. I think I would, the products are beautiful. They are probably the same as, one of the other brands that you pulled up, like the Flower Shed. However, the overall experience is where I want to focus on. Like, what's the after service like? What is the actual delivery window like, in terms of, okay, does the customer actually get a photo of this? I always send a photo to my customers who actually ordered the flowers, because 95% of the time the actual customers who get the flowers don't actually see the flowers when they get it elsewhere, and then only the recipient actually gets to enjoy the flowers. So what I do is I always send a photo of the actual bouquet the minute that I have finished creating them to the customer, and I always get great feedback from them. So I think what I want to focus on.
That's the kind of stuff.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
I was going to say you need a hook, because like when I think of Lovely are flowers that come in a box, and they've got a bar, like they come in like a cardboard box. The way they deliver them is unique. They're the ones that like it literally comes in a box, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of put it together, and it's got the vase. That's their thing, right? That's their hook. That's what makes them not just another flower brand. They're the brand, the flowers that come in a box. That's kind of their thing. So for you, that thing you just said, that's really unique, right? It's flowers that the sender gets to enjoy and the receiver gets to enjoy. That's kind of a cool hook, and that's a difference already. And now you're taking it away from flowers, and now you're competing on brand. Because if I'm the sender and I want to enjoy the flowers too, and you give me a way to do that, that's now a thing that I'll buy yours versus Lovely, because they come in the box and that's cool, but I don't get to see them. Yeah. So now you're competing on brand, which means you're not competing anymore. Right. Yeah. So that kind of stuff is, I think that's kind of where Paul's getting to with the niche. It needs to be that thing that sits outside of the flowers themselves. Yeah. Is it how they're packaged, how you deliver them, the service. Yeah.
Put it this way too, right? I've got a tool, and I've just, I've run through your website. It's ChatGPT, but I've made my own like audience definition, the profiling both websites. My tool thinks your site is targeting classic and elegant floral arrangement, right? lively are appealing to a younger, trendier demographic looking for a modern gift that is highly personalized. So you go very clear, very distinct, very defined audience. You know, it's like Christopher Wido's age that, you know, want to order like super trendy, modern, flowers, personalized for his partner. You know, you go great. As opposed to elegant floral arrangements, it's such a broad term. It's not niche enough. You know, like it needs to be way tighter from a niching perspective. You know, so example, think about it like this. We are e-commerce coaches. There's millions of us, right? But we go, you know what? We specialize in helping family-founded business owners build e-com brands so that they make a lot of money and they save a lot of time by working with us so they can spend more time with their kids. As opposed to, hey, I'm Joe from YouTube and I'll teach you how to set up a shitty dropshipping business. So people go, I want to work with Paul. He's got kids. I've got kids. He's built a business. He knows how to do it, right? You got to, you know, I don't want to go spend too much more time on this, but you absolutely need a brand strategy. But what to go that you have to nail that to cut through this market. And I think you can. You've already said a whole bunch of things on the call that we can use them. And if to make that pivot will be a game changer for you. Makes sense. So I'll have to jump in and say if you've got more other people, but I hope that's been helpful.
Yes,
so
thank
far.
you. Yes, definitely.
All right. Who else do we have that we want to jump into this? Anyone else sitting there patiently? Melissa from Bower, Tasmania. What's that one? I'll have a look. Do you want to have a look at your site, Melissa?
Sure.
Is that the name of it? The Bower?
The Bower, Tasmania.
What do you do? Let's have a look. Let's go. How are we going for time? I mean, I don't mind. I'm happy to keep going, but
The last one.
a whole lot of fabulous women's t-shirt. Look at me being all festive and I need that as a t-shirt. Being all festive and shit. Can you send that to me? What else is there?
That's my husband's favorite.
Oh, good. He's got good choice. All right, Christmas t-shirts. Are these drop shipped? These you guys stock these?
Yeah, print on demand.
They're all print on demand. Yeah, okay. Righto.
We did because we do have a bricks and mortar here. So
Okay.
our shop started off a little bit different. The main reasons to start the print on demand was that I wouldn't have to outlay so much money.
Okay, got it. Right. So what's your point of difference then from all the other print on demand? I mean, why should I buy a t-shirt from you?
They're funny.
Okay. Yeah. What else? Do you cater to a certain type of audience? You do, don't you? Like, how would you classify the type of person who buys from you?
Mainly from age 35 up.
Would you refer to them a certain way? And when we spoke about with Gina's like elegant and classy, you know, well, that's not our audience. Not if they're buying that t-shirt, you know. So how would you refer to your kind of ideal client? The reason I'm asking is because that whole wording needs to go onto the homepage. So they're calling out the type of person who wants to buy it, right? So there's people I know who in this space who sell all kinds of like, you know, t-shirts that are a bit interesting, you know, with swear words and stuff on them. But those guys who crush it kind of refer to their customers as something. Do you know what I mean? As some kind of person or something. Like there's I'll refrain from saying this, but there's like what's that guy's name? Christopher Wido, EBT guy, Adam something, you know, and the dude's crushing it. He does like hundreds of thousands of dollars of front runner t-shirts and stuff. He calls everyone cunnies or something. Do you know what I mean? But the dude, he's like, he knows who his audience is. He's given them a nickname. You know, they all rock this stuff with pride. Like you need to have something like that on the homepage so people go, oh yeah, oh cool, I want to be part of this brand wearing this kind of t-shirt, you know, because I want to align with them, right? So I don't know that it's kind of hitting the mark here. It's always hard with t-shirt brands. Like, I mean, they're very unique, right? Every t-shirt brand is, you know, like there's a reason the big brands are good because they nail this stuff. But any thoughts, Chris M, about where we would?
Do you design all this? Do you design the designs yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all unique artwork, custom artwork.
Yeah, stuff that we do.
And it's women's only? You're targeting women specifically?
Mainly targeting women, but it can be worn by men as well.
Okay, because the front page of the website says women's t-shirts, and then you've got kids. There's a guy there. So already I'm like, is it
I mean, literally, we got samples in, and the first person who bought it from us was, a 60-year-old farmer.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if it is women's t-shirts, then I want to see women in all of the photos rather than kids. If it's not that, then don't have women's t-shirts in the banner. Yeah, I think to where Paul's going, there needs to be in terms of design and like visual aesthetic, if this is like for big, bold, confident, is this big, bold, confident people, or is this kind of reserved, shy people that want to wear their opinions on their t-shirts because they're too shy to say them themselves? Like, those are two very different types of people.
Yeah, so, example, right? Here's a
style. Yeah, if you go to
Job Williams. This is a client of ours, Tash. She's awesome. She crushes it. You land on her website, you know exactly where you're at. You're like, it's in that like ADHD market, all that. So this is Tash. You go pins to tell the world how you feel without saying a word. Well, she says lots of words. As we start scrolling down, you can see all the kind of stuff that she's got here. Fuckity fuck, blah, 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 blah. Doing my okayest. People go, oh, right, I've got it. I know why I'm on this site for. And then you start shopping by categories, you start reading these sections down in here, customer reviews, but it's very apparent like who the brand is built for, right? And the kind of products. So
all of the design elements speak to that type of person.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where I was going with your stuff. It's kind of the visual style it's like, who's the person? Whereas you look at Tasha's stuff, everything visual about it speaks to her audience. It's big, it's bold, it's brash, it's colorful, it's fluoro, it's, the language is a big part of it. So getting really clear again, like who is this for? Why do they want to buy it? What are they trying to achieve by wearing this t-shirt? Is it just a bit of fun? Is there actually we're looking at Tasha's stuff, a lot of her stuff is people with things like neurodivergence, where they feel a certain way internally and they're weird about expressing it. So wearing something allows them to bring that kind of inner self out. So there's a whole psychology to her approach. So is it just a fun thing? Like, again, that clarity will help you get really clear on what does it look like, what words do you use, who's it for?
Yeah. So there's, from a conversion perspective, there's a lot of things kind of missing on the homepage. Things like reviews, the meta fields, like we spoke about, images are in the wrong spot. The cart button doesn't do anything when you mouse over it. So I mean, if versus you compare it to like this, for example, or you compare it to one of these pages, there's other images, there's information about shipping. You can add it to your cart easily. You can, there's a discount. There's breadcrumbs and so forth, right? So exactly what I said before. If you don't have all these things, people are going to go on the homepage and just leave because they're not all the things that should be there are not there at the moment. Same probably with your collection page as well. So t-shirts, like you can't filter. I hate the way some themes do this filtering, because you can't even search by price. You can't search by you can do by price, can't do by color. You're not really using any of the filtering options that you've got inside of Shopify to do this properly at the moment. So are you using like Dawn theme or Turbo or something like that?
Just the Dawn theme.
Yeah. Anyone who's watching this later who's using Dawn theme, like, you need to just like throw it in a bin. It's like terrible, right? So, because if you focus on making really, really good products, really, really good fun messages, and then at the end of this, I'm going to show you something you should buy from us. You just put them on a site that is built to convert out of the box. You'll be so far ahead of the curve than where you would be just by trying to make Dawn theme actually do what a website should do, right? I see people who struggle with Dawn for years, and it's a terrible theme. Apologies to anyone who works at Dawn that happens to see this in the future. So does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
So I mean, for someone like yourself, you want to spend your days building great products, making sure they're presented great on the website, selling lots of them, not mucking around on the website that you go, oh, things are in the wrong spot, I'm missing all the elements, I'm working real hard, I'm sending all the traffic to the website, I know why people aren't buying, right? You know, there's a reason Tash's website probably does like nearly 100 G's a month. You know, there's a reason Toy Box Towers do 250 grand a month. There's a reason that, you know, boutique sources did whatever they did. I don't know, 100 G's or something. Lockie's still here. Can't remember where it is. Zero Grid, you know, 250K, other brands, blah, blah, blah. So, gonna come back to this slide. I'm gonna get what slide are we up to, Chris? Share screen. I'm mindful that we're going out of time over time. So thanks for hanging out with us as far as we have, guys. So quickly, here's some of the nice things people said to us. Oh, here's Sam. I forgot about Sam. Another one of our inner circle members. I forget what Sam, don't even know what Sam did for Black Friday, but when he joined, he was doing about 100 grand. When I last looked, he was doing about 300 grand a month or something, crushing it. So quickly, hopefully this has been helpful so far. Again, I see some of the people already in the circle nodding, so that's always a good sign. But has this been helpful for you? Alana, Justin, Gina, Jackie in the background, Z's in the background. Chris, did you learn anything?
No, nothing.
Didn't think you would. Yeah, cool. Okay. So you can see how this stuff will go for you guys, right? And you can see, you know, how we would do this over the next 90, 180 days. Jackie's in the background. So right now you got two choices. No, number one, you can choose to go it alone. You can try and figure it out on your own, and you can struggle and suffer and watch all the people on YouTube that are trying to teach you stuff that worked in 1947. Or option two, you can get some help from us, like some of these people on the call have already done. We've got tried and trusted, proven ways that work, and they're easy and they speed up your progress considerably. So if you would, I'm not going to hard pitch anyone on here, not yet, I will in a minute, but if that's something that you'd like some help with, all you need to do, Chris Vallada is going to chuck a link into the comment section. Grab a time with him. He'll get on a call with me probably as well. We'll figure out if we can help you guys do what you need to do to grow your businesses. So we'll just jump on Zoom, probably takes about half an hour or so. So there you go, just put a link. I do want to share something else though. This is probably for Melissa, it's probably for Alana. Potentially, Gina, your side's nice, but you probably get a bit out of this as well. I'm going to talk about something. So here's my Black Friday that I'm still too lazy to take down because it's so amazing, basically, right? So if you get a chance, watch this later, because basically what we, oh, hang on, wrong link. That's the link, or Chris can put it in there. So basically what this thing is I've spent a very long time building what I call a high converting e-commerce framework. So anybody can go to a theme website, buy a theme, turn on a theme, and hope and pray that it works. We've actually spent a very, very long time, and it's the exact framework that we use for all of our top clients. But what we've done, we've actually made it into a framework where we come along, we copy it over to your Shopify store, and within a couple of days, you have a high converting Shopify site. All you need to do then, come along, change the banners, change some colors. You've already got products, leave the products. We set up your judgment reviews for you. We do everything. Do the whole thing, and you save a ton of money compared to people who have had us build a whole e-commerce website for them, right? And it's done very, very quickly. So a few people on the call have already got it, and we're rolling that out for them this week. Now, a couple more bonuses in there. So we spoke about Chris's brand communication strategy. If you buy this thing, you get a copy of the brand communication strategy. So that's worth, hang on, I'm going to show you a few things here. So you get this, my library. No, that's not the button. Hang on, this button. So you get this thing, brand communication playbook. Chris has spent most of his life figuring out how to be really, really good at this. You get to learn how to do it. You get the conversion rate blueprint. You probably don't need that because you're going to get a really good high converting store. You get Lucky's meta ad course, which is going to make everyone into a meta ads wizard. Again, a few of you guys have already got it. People are going to have questions once we give them the high converting framework. So what we've done, obviously, as I've mentioned, we've got what we call the e-commerce circle. Now, I'm not going to pitch our high-end program on this because it's not suited to anybody really on the call. But if you buy this thing, you basically get 8 weeks access inside of the e-commerce circle, and you get a dedicated channel inside of the circle to go, hey guys, like I see that you've already set up my site for me. I've got a couple of questions. Can you help me? We'll help you for 8 weeks to get your site to the level it needs to be. So you buy this thing, we set it up, we configure everything for you. But You guys have already got products on your site, they'll stay there. Collections, they stay there. Unless, of course, we need to go, hey, your collections are pretty crappy. We're going to help you make them better, right? Because you're going to need to do that. Again, there's a training on how to do that. There's a training on how to do the whole thing. I know Jody's already seen a sneak peek to this, and so has Ivan. But we're giving people all of this. The reason I'm doing this, because I don't really like seeing people try to build e-com business with crappy websites and they waste years of their life and they go from agency to agency to agency and they just end up with a shitty website and they spend 10 grand on a website and they get all miserable and depressed. I've been there. Everyone's been there, right? So this thing, again, the high converting framework, Chris's course, my course, my Facebook ads course, which I'm going to give to you, Alana, anyway, but you get it for free. 8 weeks of the circle, which is valued at, what is it? $1,000, $100 a week or something, Chris Auto. All of that for $2,000, right? So if that's of interest to anybody who's watching this now or is watching the recording, all you need to do, go to this website, go here. You'll get lots and lots of details about how it all works. You also even get what we call a font pairing guide, which we've just finished. I don't even think I told you about this, Ivan and Jody, but like you should use these fonts and these fonts and these fonts on your website and you just go tick, 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 save, and it'll look beautiful. It takes most people years to figure out how to do that. So, what else is there? I think that's it. That's enough, right? So that's one of the options. For those of you that want to move a bit quicker, those of you that watch this later that want to actually move faster, Chris has put a link into there as well. On the call, we'll go, hey, you should probably buy this thing. However, if you do want to move faster, we'll go, well, this is what it looks like to work with us to do your brand strategy for you one-to-one. Some people go, you know what? I don't have much time. Can you just make me a bloody amazing website right off the bat and charge me what you charge me? I go, cool. Chris will give you a quote on the call as well, right? So that's the two reasons for jumping on the call with us. So right now, for those of you that don't have this, you have two decisions. One, book a call, buy this basically. Anybody have any questions at the moment or want to add anything? And I do hope this has been helpful.
So as part of the community, you actually also get access to our 4 or 5 calls that we do daily every week. So we have a call on brand, we have a call on Meta, we have a call on Google, we have a call on marketing, we have a call on finance, we have a call on operations, we have a strategy and scaling call. And these happen every day for an hour, and it's this type of session where we go deep on those topics. So for the 8 weeks, not only do you get the support for the high converting store, you also get access to those daily calls. So you can learn about Meta ads, you can learn about marketing, you can learn about brand, and bring all of your questions to those calls as well as you're going through the training programs for each of those things. Yeah, which is a massive benefit. I mean, Ivan was talking about that this morning. I think that he's been on about every call that he can since he's been on and consuming it all and really, really enjoying those sessions. So there's a massive benefit as well.
And for those of you that watch this later and go, I'm kind of happy with my website, even if you know your website's not great, you can also just join the circle and it's for $100 a week. Right. So if you're serious about building an e-commerce business and doing the right things and you're like, I've got a website and I'm not ready to go fast yet. I'll get Chris to somewhere here. There'll be a link. Hang on, I'll find it for you. Like you can literally just go here, click this button, and like Chris said, every day there's a different call. Grab this thing. I'll put it in the chat. Come and go as you please. Come and try it for a month. It's going to cost you $400 or whatever, $200 to set up or something. Jump in, have a look, learn from we do, go to the calls and hang around people that are doing, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, right? You're going to learn good stuff from these people. Again, if it's not for you, leave. If it is for you, stay, right? So we've built a really, really good community. I think there's about 120 people now in the main channel, right? Of people doing really, really good stuff. So, yeah. Trying to think what else is there. That's probably enough. I was just going to add to what Chris said. So like I said, we give you the Meta ads call from the course from Lockie, like every Tuesday this morning. I think there was like 8 or 9 people or something that jumped on the Meta ads call and they just asked Lockie questions about, their Meta ads. Tomorrow Chris will do his brand call and they'll go, hey, Chris, I'm doing your brand course. I've got questions about the brand thing. You go, great. On Friday, I've got questions about operations. I've got questions about my website. And there's also a whole bunch of channels, right? So inside the channels, there's channels and everything. People are like, oh, I need help with packaging. I need help with shipping. I need help with hiring a virtual assistant. I need help with 400 other things, right? So no matter where you're at, there is a space for everybody inside of here, and also, you know, like whatever your income kind of level is at, right? So, all right, Chris, I might wrap it there. I'll let you finish
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. No, that's completely fine. So thank you again, everyone, for jumping in, especially if it's your first time. I hope you got a lot out of this. But by all means, guys, you do have the links there. If you want to book a chat with us, go ahead, use that link. That's obviously at no cost. You have the other links there. But if you want to chat to us just in Facebook casually about some questions or some interest you might have, by all means, if you're not in the Shopify Australia group, jump in there. That's where we kind of operate day to day outside the circle. And just feel free to reach out to either myself or Paul throughout the week if you have any questions, or Chris or Lockie, and we'll help you out.
Yeah, drop me your email, Alana, as well, and I'll give you that Facebook course as well. So, all right, guys, cool. Thank you. Appreciate you all. Hope you had some fun, and I will see you in the next one. It says bye.
Hey, guys.
Thanks, guys.